Good afternoon, had to check, from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's 12:19 p.m. on Thursday, 30th of November 2023. So it's a very hot day, and apparently it's going to be 34 degrees, which is a bit weird. But it's summertime in Brisbane, Australia, so you have to endure living in a hellscape of epic proportions for 9 months of the year, and a much more pleasant climb for 3 months of the year. The price I pay for living in Australia, mate. Australia. So my cleaning lady's been and gone, so the floors are clean and the bathroom's done. So all's right with my world, and I'm very, very tired today and still quite unwell. But when has that ever been any other situation? So soldiering on as I do. Charlie's outside in the garden. She's been up the crepe myrtle tree, which I was grateful she didn't go right up the very top, because it's about 40 metres tall and it's hard to get her down sometimes. But anyway, we carry on. Oh, it says high winds soon. Well, that should cool the air down. We carry on with my readings from my journal entries. I don't know why. I suppose just because I can. I could be making jewellery right now, but I don't know. I seem to be focused on getting my stories out into the world, and in the hope that it might, some of my hard-earned wisdoms might be of use to someone, and all my more heartfelt, funny anecdotes might brighten up someone's day. Because as always with the Tanya in Psychedelic Dreamers World, it's the yin and the yang spinning in infinity. And you never know what you're gonna get. So, and that's true of everyone, every living person's life. It's a constant merging and swirling of energies and life force and chi and magic and wonder and awe, depending on who's in your life and your heartfelt intentions, or whether you're scrambling out of the abyss, as I have had to do with monotonous regularity. So here is a beautiful photo of my raspberry tiger rose that she's actually put a bud out again. She struggles for survival, and that rose and I, we are survivors. We are simpatico. That rose has nearly died so many times, and each time I've thought, oh, I think it's dead, I think I'll pull it out, and was about to cut it down, pull it out, it would push up a new shoot and start again. So the raspberry tiger and the Tanya tiger, warrior goddess, lioness, wolf, are we are magical creatures. We are resilient, we're determined, we're stoic, but we're also a little bit delightful at times. So there she is in all her glory. I should call her the Hanukkah rose, because she usually blooms every Hanukkah for me, and it's really quite sweet and magical. Here I've called her my Lazarus rose. I thought it was dead. Wow, 30th of November 2021, and as I say, she's punched out another bud and striving to strut her stuff yet again in 2023. So it's really miraculous and beautiful. But I did lose my white iceberg rose a couple of weeks ago, which was astonishing because that too had only half a trunk, and I'd taped up the trunk and it had soldiered on for about another 5 or 6 years like that, and put out quite a few blooms, and just randomly both the iceberg rose and the night scented jessamine next to it, both of them upped and died only about 2 weeks after Beauregard died. I was like, what is going on at Sacred Space? All the sudden death, sudden unexpected death. It's a bit fucking confronting when even your plants drop dead on you, for no reason that I could ascertain. But it is what it is. Life and death in a constant spiral. There's always new beginnings and new life, no matter what happens, people. So don't despair and don't give up. 30th of November 2022. Yesterday I was beset by a very strange synchronicity. I was watching Wednesday Addams of the Addams Family. There was a scene where she gets revenge on her high school bullies who attacked her little brother by unleashing bags of actual piranha into the school swimming pool during their session. I almost fell off my couch in surprise. Why? Well, 2 weekends ago, on a Saturday night at the Livewire bar, I was explaining to some new acquaintances that there are distinct waves as the night progresses of men who form sort of packs. As they drink themselves sober, they become increasingly desperate and therefore dangerous. I explained that this is based on my observations of them over 12 years of dancing out in the Brisbane music scene. Well, it's 13 years now, babies. I said, the first wave usually starts around 11 p.m. and I call them crocodiles. Then the next wave, around midnight-ish, I call sharkies. Then the most deceptive and dangerous wave arises between 2 and 3 p.m. That witching hour that I refer to as the fuckfest, which is usually the most intense at 3 a.m. I said the men will suddenly and perceptibly give themselves a bit of a shake, like a wet dog, and then this predatory, almost demonic light will spark up in their eyes, accompanied by an intense predatorial stare. Then they move in, hoping that we women will be either so drunk, and it happens, babies, at that time of night, or so broken down by life, so broken down by hours of intense exercise that we will go home with them. Historically, this used to happen for those of us who still had a libido and hadn't realised how feckless, false, and downright predatory these grey wolves, as I call them, truly are. Now, that is not to say that sometimes there are some lovely men moving in these scenes, but they are rarer than werewolves and hard to recognise amongst the bloodletting, bloodlust and the fuckfest. But other women have found lovely men. So maybe it's their dharma, or maybe I am too cynical. But anyway, one of the women asked me, nodding in the general direction of a man whose eyes had just lit up like reptilian scales had been sharded from his eyes. So, Tanya, what animal is he? He had been dancing around our orbit for a while, harmless enough, had not really bothered us. I subconsciously marked the time. I said, because I never wear a watch, people, I haven't worn a watch for 25 years. I don't like being bound by time constraints. If I want to know the time, I ask someone, what's the time? And they'll kindly tell me. Or now with my iPhone, I constantly have the time on my iPhone. But wearing a watch is not my scene. So I said, it must be close to 3 a.m. I was wrong. It was 2:06 a.m. But still the same energy, lol. I wrinkled my nose in consternation, sniffing the air like a pack leader of women accustomed to running with the wolves. Time to go home, ladies. The feasting will begin. But what animal is he? They asked again. I smirked. That one is probably a very nice man in ordinary life outside the club, but tonight he is a piranha. He is already eating you from the ankles up. He danced rapidly past us, gnawing at our psyches like a vicious little fish. Just keep swimming, boyo. The Tanya sees you, sad but true. And by the way, my girlfriends laughed and laughed and laughed when I said he was a piranha, because they took one look at him and they saw it too, and we saw the funny side of it. So, they did ask. Don't ask me questions and expect me to tell you anything but the cold hard truth. That's how I live my life. In the face of even the coldest, hardest truth there is, that sometimes even I am a bit of a wanker and fail at relationships. C'est la vie, babies. I'm waiting for the right one that won't trigger me and won't detach and play with my fragile little mind, which is not as fragile as it used to be, as my psychiatrist said yesterday. He said, we've worked so hard to get you so well, I cannot have all that work undone. So he was being a bit protective too. It's sweet, really. Everyone wants to be part of the Tanya evolution, revolution, blossoming. They all have a say on how my love life should be conducted, and I feel like a swallow murmuration, which is the right course of action to take, and who is genuine, and who is lighting up for me, and who is the one, and which way do I fly? I fly straight and single-minded at times to the one who treats me with kindness, honour and integrity. That is how I will know who will be the one worthy of my sexuality. And oh my goddess, it's going to be quite amazing, I think, when I finally kick down all my walls of protection and oppression and containment. Like a trapped wild animal, I've been kept for my own safety and by my own choice most of the time. But yeah, my beloved psychiatrist, he is concerned that, that I get my health back in order, my physical health, because he said that not sleeping and peeing up all night is affecting and impacting my mental health. And he said we cannot risk that being caused to unravel, and we've worked too hard together to get me right. So he is a noble and decent and loving man, and he also wants me to have my truest, greatest, most ardent, most loyal, faithful, devoted lover man, however or whoever arises in my life and manifests in that way. He wants the best for me. I know he does. But it's just, it's confusing at times, especially with my history with men. It's very fucking confronting and confusing. So there is that. But I'm determined to prevent or circumvent or avoid or sabotage, including my own, because that's how all the other things went to the shit. Other people having too much say in my love life, and then other people on the other party's side having too much say in their love life, without just letting things evolve naturally and people working out if you're the right match for them, without all that ugliness and viciousness and crass, evil, cruel behaviour that went on 8 years ago. Which is why I said, that's it, I'm done. I'm not even going to open up to love ever again. And why I'm standing there in the casino live wire bar floor going, here comes the grey wolf, here comes the crocodile, here comes a sharky, here comes a piranha, seeing threat everywhere. And they were threatening. I wasn't paranoid. They really were fucking soul destroying and threatening. But there is a shift now, and not just my consciousness, but in the collective consciousness, where men are wanting to be loved too. They're wanting to build lives with women who love them. They're wanting comfort and companionship and heartfelt, soul-centered, loyal, faithful, great sex. Well, maybe men don't necessarily want that. They like to play the field too much, I'm well aware. But I'm wanting heartfelt, soul-centered, great sex that is for me, with eyes only for me, not playing all around the ridges everywhere they go, tuning up other women and being dishonouring to my spirit and body and mind. So, but as my psychiatrist and I discussed about a year ago, that people will be looking to form partnerships, true love partnerships, and, someone to be with them in dark times that may still yet arise. Can't be going through any much more darker times than we've already been through in the last 4 years, but also to be with them for the beautiful, loving, wonderful times. And God forbid if the beautiful, loving, wonderful times never return to us, at least have someone to be, a partner that loves you openly and honestly and decently, that has your back and your front and will be loyal and be with you. Because I've navigated this life alone for 29 years. Alone. I mean, I had Courtney in my life for 5 years, but I only saw him twice a week. It's hardly a real relationship, really. I mean, for the love of God. I mean, he did fix my car, though. I guess it was that. But, you know, I don't want to be used and abused and have transactional relationships. I want supportive, loving, nurturing, nourishing, life-affirming, gorgeous, juicy, fun, delightful, you know, love partnership that's based on mutual respect and friendship too. Not just the in and out, blow and go, ho, 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 Merry fucking Christmas. Like, for the love of God. Mind you, I spend every Christmas completely alone except for my Boxing Day with my friend Jared and my daughter, you know, as a long-standing tradition, because I can't have that triggering either. Anyway, where was I? Spiralling in fantasy land? But I'm not just fantasizing, I'm manifesting. This is what I want from life. You know, I'm too old and too tired and too wrung out by health issues to waste time on liars, cheats, fakes, people who run and hide from me because I went dancing. Like, for the love of God. I'm a dancer and I'm a shaman. That's what I do. Anyway, I just had my debrief. I'm continuing with the reading because yes, we're still in 2022. So that was 1 year ago. 1 year ago when I was, you know, all the women friends around me, what animal is he? What animal is he? Well, if you want to ask what animal I am, I'm a wolf. I'm a hunter. I'm a woman who runs with the wolves. My Ojibwa Majuan friend said I'm a Mustang Quay, so I'm also a wild horse. But my wolf spirit is the wise one, the protective one. The one who, as I even said, sniffs the air, because you can smell them coming, or the testosterone at 3 a.m, because of their abject fear of going home alone without having a route for the night. It's an absolute insecurity and a fear. If they behaved like normal, decent men and were a bit cool and actually bothered to come up to us at 9 or 10 p.m. earlier in the evening and actually spoke to us and said, would you like a drink, or would you like to dance? Would you like to have a chat with me? Can we go somewhere to have a bit of a talk? And actually bothered to treat us like human beings worthy of being treated with honour and respect. I can guarantee you 99% of those men would have had a route for the night, because a lot of those women that were going there were hoping to find true love too. And by true love, not just the routing, but someone actually treating you with decency and sweetness and kindness. But this is why our society is so fucked up. As my cleaning lady was just here this morning, we discussed it. She said men are not men anymore and women are not women anymore. Our society has changed. And I said, absolutely it has. You know, women like me who've had to manage life, navigate life alone while deeply traumatised with 2 young children at the time for 10 years, with minimal support, under constant threat. Is it any wonder that now we're older, we're highly, highly cynical and suspicious and, wary of opening our hearts, bodies, minds, loins to a man ever again? And by the same token, our men have softened. Maybe it's too much estrogen and all the freaking plastic bottles they make us drink out of and all that evil shit. Maybe it's the glyphosate in our bread, or maybe it's the toxins in our air and water. But our men are softer than... I mean, we went through the entire COVID epoch and hardly any men stood up against it. They just bent over it and took it all and complied. That's when I started freaking the fuck out, because my parents all went through World War II when men were men and women were women, and it was literally a fight for your survival, and you fought, if not with weapons or guns because you were a civilian, but you fought against the bombings and the constant threat. You had to fight with your mind and your energy and your heart. Which is how I have been fighting people, which is why I have little breakdowns every now and then, because it gets a little bit overwhelming, you know. But I have good people. As I stated to my psychiatrist, I have good men in my life, very good men, who fight for me daily to make sure that I'm safe and that I'm loved, that I'm protected, that I'm provided for my most urgent needs, which at the moment is my bloody bladder. Well, that's been an urgency for 8 years, but it's being dealt with finally now. And my beautiful friend Jared, who didn't see the video I made when I was channeling some weirdness, saying men will write songs in my sweat and my I was being cheeky and audacious. I was having a bit of fun, darlings. Very next day, Jared sends me 2 beautiful songs to promote my business, which my psychiatrist thought was wonderful. I said it was a real synchronicity. I had literally said out in the public domain in a YouTube video the day before how men who were platonic and honour my sexuality will write me songs. And then the very next day, Jared sent me not 1 but 2 songs promoting my Titania's Realm jewellery business, which was gorgeous. Thank you, Jared. But yeah, the timing was very weird and interesting, and yeah, synchronicity strikes again. But anyway, my psychiatrist thought that was wonderful that Jared's supporting my business and taking me literally along with him to the markets on Saturday, because he wants me to finally start moving that energy on, selling the things I've made. Pardon me, because I had no sales a year ago and I lost confidence again. Thought, oh well, it's not happening, economy's bad, no one's interested, blah, blah, blah. It's all too hard, and it is a bit all too hard for me because I'm not well. So it was a very kind and noble thing with my friend Jared to say, well, let's do it together and then we can help each other set up, and then it's not such a burden, you having to do it all by yourself and get yourself there and, set everything up and sit there. And I often get freaking triggered during the day by lunatics, because there's always a lunatic that comes to me, either in the dance scene, as I experienced with that young Maori boy I had to swat like a fly, or when I'm sitting in a market stall, because people are drawn to my light because I'm a healer with words. This is part of the journey too, So there's often some lunatic that'll come and either be nasty or freaking inappropriate, and I'm like, have to navigate that, which will be good having Jared there, because he can keep an eye out, and if anyone gets weird, he can kind of, he knows when I disassociate too, that I'm not quite with it, so he can kind of keep a little bit of an eye over me. And the same, if anyone weird comes to his stall, I can say, what's going on here? You've got each other's back, and you've got the support, and you've got the camaraderie, rather than doing everything all by yourself and just being fucking open slather for, whatever ugliness decides to come along at any given time. I hope there is no ugliness on Saturday, though, because I am unwell. So my tolerance will be even less likely to indulge things. But I think it should be fine. It's a little country town, and people in the country, usually more friendly and outgoing and happy, and, it's a Christmas festival. So I think we should have a lovely day, and I'm looking forward to it. So I won't let anxiety and shitty experiences from the past, like I had at the other market stall last year, impact on my mental health, right? Because that was then, this is now. New breath, new day, new experience, right? I must work harder at not dragging the ugliness from the past into my current worldview, because it does contaminate. It does. Mustn't allow that to happen. But the minute someone starts behaving a bit off, I have a finely tuned radar, and I just start thinking, all right, what's gone wrong here now? Sometimes it has actually nothing to do with me. It's not me, it's them. So I have to be conscious of that too. Anyway, still in 2022, even date. I just had my debrief with my worthy psychiatrist. We've arranged for us to meet at his clinic next session, 2 weeks. By that I meant we debrief via telehealth. He currently has another dose of COVID. I said, as long as you are over the COVID by then, as after all, as always, I am both free balling and free falling. We both laughed. It's insane, this living in fear of death whilst simultaneously riding shotgun with life. But that is my way, the way of a trauma survivor, glib and salient and self-aware. And I'm really looking forward to new love and new life and opening up my sexuality, fully activating it with someone lovely. I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know when or how or with whom, but by the gods, I hope that person is sincere and genuine this time. I really do. So here I have a picture of, looks like Carl Jung. Oh, it is Carl Jung. I was going to say, that face looks familiar. Not that I've ever met him in real life. Carl Jung. I'm laughing because my ex-lover, David Davidson, was a Jungian, and he was a manipulative, fucking evil piece of sociopathic piece of shit. So after that, I was very suspicious of Jungians. But Jung does have a lot to teach about psychology and philosophy and even magic. Very interesting man. A